the EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.
And welcome down to the EP Podcast. My name is Chris Lanuti, Hannah Beth sitting across from me, and this is all brought to you by the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. They have been serving you forever, Evergreen Park. They're at 95th and Pniewski. They've been our proud sponsors now for years, and they want to help you out. Business banking solutions, personalized banking solutions. The EP Podcast banks with the First National Bank of Evergreen Park. And get the EP Podcast card magnet there. And remember, when the pandemic hit and people needed help, the First National Bank of Evergreen Park was there. They saved over 200 local jobs helping out with Paycheck Protection Program loans. They can help you as well. Reach out to them online at bankevergreenpark.com/4u or head over to the big iconic building at 95th and Pulaski and visit them. Say hi. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. They will be, Hannah, at Durbins this Thursday night.
I'm very excited.
They have things to give away. I don't know what banks give away.
I hope they give away money.
I hope. I don't want to make promises. I don't want to make promises. We also have Mayor Kelly Burke live and in person. This starts at 7 p.m., 102nd and Kedzie at Durbins. Get out there and visit with us. Be there before 7 to get a good seat. Enjoy the great food. They have an incredible menu. They've got a great bar list if you want to go out and have a drink or two. You could bring in your family. You could bring in your friends. You can bring in your enemies. I don't know why you'd bring them, but you could bring anybody there. Newly remodeled. They're doing a great job over there. If you haven't been there in a while, get over to Durbins. And Thursday night's a great chance for you to sit down with us and the mayor live starting at 7 p.m. Do not be late. Like I said, get there early. Are you excited?
I'm very excited. And the great thing about this, us being out there, is if you want to audition to co-host along with me, you can do this live and you can see us in person, get a feel for what it is we do. We can have people just come up, we'll hand you a microphone and you tell us why you want to be a co-host of the EP Podcast and why you want to be my temporary sidekick. Come out, meet the mayor. There's great food. Bring your friends, bring your family, bring your kids. The whole restaurant's been renovated. It's a great experience inside there. But again, 7 p.m. this Thursday at Durbins.
102nd and Kedzie. Glenn Pniewski going to talk about some things going on in the village. He is coming up. This is the EP Podcast, found everywhere podcasts can be found and always at the eppodcast.com. He is a man of many hats over at the village, but he's always able to put on the hat every once in a while. That is talking to the EP Podcast and filling us in on what is going on in and around Evergreen Park. His name is Glenn Pniewski. He's on the line. How are you, Glenn?
I am good, and I'm sorry to hear that you've been under the weather. I dealt with one of those last week, so you might be coughing a bit during this interview. I'm still sniffling a little bit. So between the two of us,
I know. It's going to be a joy to listen to. This is why we're having our contest. We're trying to find somebody to host an episode of the EP Podcast in case I ever go down because I'm ill or something like that. Somebody's going to host a show with Hannah later on this summer. I'm surprised that I haven't gotten an entry from you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I figured Glenn Pniewski would want to host the show. I thought I'd get an entry from you.
Hey, listen, I will be your Jay Leno during the Johnny Carson days.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We might need it, although we've already got a few contestants and other people are able to get in. We might get more contestants on Thursday night live over at Durbins. The mayor, Kelly Burke, going to be joining us live out there at 7 p.m. We're very excited about that.
She just told me about that, yes.
Let's talk to you and what's going on around the EP. What's the big news right now, my friend?
We've got a few things, unfortunately the parade isn't happening and neither is, I'm also noticing for the second year in a row, there's nothing in that Redeemer parking lot, and listen, I'm, my days of enjoying carnivals are long past, but I miss not having that one there. You know what I mean? So, but, we make do, and here in the village, they have they did start the summer concert series last Sunday. Beautiful night, and they've got another summer concert coming up On the 25th, Neverly Brothers with some good old-fashioned rock and roll.
Where's that at? Is that at Circle or 50 Acre?
It's Circle. That's going to be that's at Circle. But I got some 50 Acre Park news for you later on here in my little roster. But so we got the two summer concerts, the July the 25th and August the 22nd. That would be Rick Lindy and the Wild Ones band. You probably have read that the rec department has got a house decorating contest going. So people dress up their houses all patriotic style and submit a photo to us over here. We've got an email address of epjuly4homes@gmail.com. So just take a picture, please, in the horizontal format, not the usual iPhone up and down, because we want to do a nice little video slideshow. And so if the pictures are landscape rather than portrait, they fit into the screen a lot better. And we've got information all about that on the website front page there.
What is the big prize, Glenn? I mean, what are people getting here? Have you guys determined exactly what the prize package is yet?
Gift cards. Hey, keeping the green and evergreen. We've got gift cards for local Evergreen Park businesses. So, there will be 4 winners. There'll be a winner in each quadrant. They will make their decisions on the judges will make their decisions on Wednesday, the June 30th, and then the winners will be notified right before 4th of July, and then they'll be invited to come into a board meeting there in mid-July to get their prizes, and then like I said, all the photos that are submitted will get put into a nice little slideshow that we'll do on the web. So just to deck the houses out with red, white, and blue. So
sounds like fun.
That is.
What else is happening this summer?
Well, as of today, the mayor, this being Monday, the mayor has put out a letter to our residents through Facebook and our e-blast, and she has announced that, for the longest time we've had a display case here in the Village Hall devoted to our hometown heroes. And that's been up there for quite a while. And what we're going to do, and some of those, I don't even know if some of those people are still in the military or what. So we're going to take those photos down and put those in a special scrapbook, right there at the Village Hall. But we're redoing that board, and we are asking people now today, if you've got a photo of a current family member who is serving in the military, please send us those photos to epinf@hotmail.com in a JPEG format. Or we'll actually have a box there at the Village Hall that if you put those photos in an envelope and drop them off in the box, we're going to start getting those on a new board. So we just want to update that board a little bit, just so we've got the most current information. But the folks that we have had up there for the last 10 years or so, they're still going to be honored. That's going to be in a special scrapbook, right there, photo album right there in the Village Hall.
And if somebody had somebody on the board, let's say, that is still actively serving, just submit another photograph to put them back up on the new one?
Yeah, that way. But, the thing is, the pictures get faded up there, so we'd like a nice fresh one up there. And that way, if I have a digital archive of it, if ever that picture does start to fade, I can replace it. You know what I mean? Because I've got a digital backup. Big news, of course, you've been hearing about this, is that, we can't have fireworks on July 4th, but on Monday, September the 6th, Labor Day at 50 Acre Park at 5 p.m. People can come and sit and first listen to the glorious music of the City Lights Orchestra, conducted by Evergreen Park's own Rich Daniels. And then immediately following, well, it may not be immediate, depends on how dark it gets and how quickly, there will be a fireworks show there at 50 Acre Park.
Concert and fireworks Labor Day weekend, that's exciting.
We've got a lot of things coming up for the fall, too, just to kind of make up for lost time. Obviously, our theater program will open in late September. Then on Saturday, October 16th, our second annual FantaSci Fest. That's that Fantasy Fest that you were part of last year, which we're holding your booth for this Saturday, the 16th of October. And then the following weekend, Saturday, October 23rd, at 50 Acre Park, will be an Oktoberfest.
Yes, this is what I was waiting for. I've been waiting for the Oktoberfest announcement. I'm excited about the fireworks and the dressing up the houses and the new board that we're going to put up for all the veterans and all these different things that you're doing. But when I heard the hint of an Oktoberfest in Evergreen Park, this piqued my interest because you have no idea the ginormous sized mugs that I have back here behind the 9-foot homemade oak bar where we record. And I can't wait to bust out one of my big, giant, 2-liter beer mugs to bring down to Oktoberfest.
Well, and then, at first they were talking about maybe having that Ukage field, which does have the advantage of being in the ice rink, with a cover on it. But Mayor Burke says, listen, something like that is more appealing over at 50 Acre Park. They'll figure out the parking. Okay, they'll make arrangements, whatever they have to do. And she says, hey, we know it could be a pain in the rear end to have to put up, 2 or 3 tents, but that's what we're going to do. She wants it over there, and I think it is just a nicer, let's just hope that, it's a halfway decent day on Saturday, October 23rd, but, the show goes on. So
listen, are the lederhosen required or optional?
I don't think that decision has been made, but for you, we're going to say they are required.
All right, that sounds like a plan. It is now time for your EP podcast, Word on the Street, brought to you by Edward Jones Financial and my good friend Tom Walsh at Edward Jones on the corner of 111th and Kedzie. Tom's a local guy. He's been around for over 20 years. He's my good friend, and he's helping me and my family plan for our future. If you want to talk with Tom, it's very easy. Pop in at 111th and Kedzie or give him a call today, 773-779-0023. We will get one more quick segment with Glenn Pniewski before this show is over, but there's a few other things going on in and around Evergreen Park, like the rec department has a couple more openings remaining in soccer, dance, and possibly 1 or 2 other activities this summer. Most of it is filled, but if you're looking to get out, get over to the rec department and sign up. Get more details at evergreenpark-ill.com. The Evergreen Park Senior Council will be presenting Memories to Go, the Village Garage Sale, back again this year. It will be happening, though, in the fall on Saturday, the 11th of September. Call 708-422-8776 for more information on how to sign up for this event. The IDOT construction on Kedzie continues from 87th all the way to 131st, so it covers all of Evergreen Park. We're going to see some of that, hopefully not anything loud, out in front of Durbins of Evergreen Park on Thursday night when we record our episode in front of a crowd with Mayor Kelly Burke, amongst others. That event's at 102nd and Kedzie. That is not the only construction going on in Evergreen Park because CSX, the friendly freight line that constantly causes trouble in the EP, is also now ripping up the crossing at 99th and Rockwell. So for a week, you won't be able to get down 99th Street. That begins this week on Tuesday. So we're surrounded by construction, and that may frustrate you. Remember, though, we are still rewarding good drivers in Evergreen Park, and you get double the prize if you have an EP Podcast car magnet on the back of your vehicle. If you are observed driving well in the village, cash and other fabulous prizes may be yours. Stop fully at the stop sign, drive the speed limit, and please be aware of your neighbors and their children and their pets and their grandma. You can't run over grandma. And your final word on the street, do not forget to head out to the Evergreen Park Farmers Market each and every Thursday. It starts at 7 a.m., goes to 1 p.m. The EP Podcast going to be out there with the people giving away some stuff. On the 15th of July, we'll have more details for you as we get closer to that date. This is your EP Podcast, Word on the Street, found everywhere podcasts can be found and always at theeppodcast.com. Building relationships, supporting the community, and service. These are the things that Country Financial stands for. They're more than just an office you may pass by as you drive through Evergreen Park. They're neighbors who lend a helping hand and support the fabric of your community, including charitable organizations, sports, financial education, and civic organizations. And since Country is already your neighbor, they want to get together and chat. Call your local Country Financial representative, Mike Thauer, today at 708-425-1559 to talk about the things that are important to you and how he can help you protect them. So you might hear me struggling just a little bit.
Just a tad.
Today on the show.
Just a tad.
You heard on Friday what was going on. It turns out that even with the COVID vaccine, you can catch other things.
The hell you say?
Yeah, you can. You can catch the flu. You can catch a cold.
So it doesn't prevent the common cold?
No, not at all.
Tonsillitis?
Nope.
Bronchitis?
Nope. Upper respiratory infections. That's what I have.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
And you know when you have these problems. And I kind of want to get into, if people don't mind, the craziness of the world right now.
It just continues to get crazy.
Yeah, you think it's over. It's not over. The world is still nuts because
the world is getting so many ideas.
Yeah. I knew that it wasn't COVID. I'm vaccinated. And not only am I vaccinated, I know what an upper respiratory infection is. You know what one is.
Yes.
When you have kids, you're able to identify, like, what does my kid have? Especially when it's like your third kid, fourth kid. You're like, seen this before. I know what this is. You go tell the doctor. You walk in, you go, guess what Billy has? He goes, well, I'm the doctor. And that's what Billy has. He's going to need this medicine. Oh, let me take a look. And at the end of it, the doctor's like, you know what? You're right. Billy does have that. And here's the medicine you asked for. You know, people aren't stupid. I know over the last 15 months, we've all been taught to believe we can't identify what we have.
Right.
But once you've gotten to the point where you're vaccinated, and I'm not losing my sense of taste or smell, I don't have a fever, and I know what an upper respiratory thing is. I know. The problem is, I use a doctor that's part of the Advocate Christ Medical Group. So when you call there, and a lot of people around here probably use that, they will give you a series of screening questions.
Okay.
So I'm sick and I want to see a doctor. I know I need antibiotics. I know. And they get to the end of the questions, and the nice lady who's asking me the questions, like, runs down all the COVID symptoms. Well, unfortunately, one of them is chest congestion.
I didn't know that was a COVID symptom.
Supposedly it is.
I thought you had a dry cough with COVID.
I had none of the other things, but I had chest congestion.
Oh, I know where this is going.
And I told her, I said, look, I know you're asking the COVID question. I'm vaccinated. It's not COVID. I'll even take a test. But I'm going to need somebody to treat this. Well, unfortunately, we can't have anybody treat you because they won't let you in the building because you have one of those things.
Oh, my God.
So
You're
then,
seeking treatment and they will not let you in the building. They will not let sick people in a building to see a doctor.
So all I do is I mutter, that's ridiculous. And instead of defending them, the person who works for them goes, I've been telling them this now for weeks. I've already had this argument with them, sir. I have 3 kids. I know what's what. They're all vaccinated. They're doctors. And yet they won't let you in. I don't think they ever see anybody in here. And she starts yelling about it. And I was like, wow. Not only does she probably have other people say the same thing I'm saying, but she's like, this is getting frustrating telling people this. It's obvious now with all these people that are vaccinated and the safety measures and the fact that all the medical personnel are vaccinated. Like I read some stat, like medical personnel are vaccinated like 97% or something ridiculous like that, right?
Yeah.
But they don't want to see me. So then she goes, but you can get on the phone with them. And I said, what does that cost me? Is that the same as an office visit? She's like, yeah. I'm like, I'm not paying them for that.
No.
I'll go use this Teladoc app. So I went on an app that finds you a doctor, puts you on a video screen.
And you get it for free through your wife's work, don't you?
I do, but even if it wasn't free, a lot of times they're a lot cheaper.
Ah.
So I get on this app, and this doctor starts right off telling me she's not going to give me antibiotics. Like,
just from the get-go.
Right from the get-go. Like, you know how like you have to show your ID when you go get yourself some Allegra? Because they're worried you're buying it all over the place so you can make meth.
Right.
You know, like it's Breaking Bad going on in Evergreen Park, right? Like I'm going to start making the blue glass stuff. You know, that's what they think I'm doing when I'm getting myself an Allegra. This doctor thinks I'm getting antibiotics for the black market or something. I'm like, why don't you let me give you my symptoms?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I was halfway through the symptoms and what the timeline was. And she goes, oh, you have an upper respiratory infection.
And she's listening to you and hearing you?
And she goes, I'm going to give you some antibiotics. Thanks. What do you do for a living? I'm a broadcaster. I'm going to give you some steroids too. And then she gave me like a pharmacy worth of stuff. She's like, we got to get you back on track.
Just a stranger from an app.
Because she's like, your voice is going to go. And you can hear me still struggling here.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know I'm going to be ready for Thursday because I've done this before, you know? By the time this show comes out, I guarantee you my voice is perfect. Right. I'm in full health. The event on Thursday, I can't wait to be out there with the people. I'm the safest person in the world now. I got my vaccine. And I'm going to have antibiotics coursing through my body still. Like, at that point, I would go lick a light post, but I'd probably catch something else, Hannah.
Well, that's what happened the first time.
That's the problem.
Do a doorknob this time.
I just figured that I was safe because I had a vaccine.
Toilet handle.
I figure you have the vaccine. You're good for
dollar
everything.
bills, stuff on a quarter.
Right. God, imagine if I would have run wild in my 20s thinking that I was invincible. Be dead now. You've heard us talk about Cool Cloud's Vapor Shop, local Evergreen Park business that helps people stop smoking. In fact, they've been around right here in Evergreen Park since 2014, and they are open and ready now to help smokers get off of cigarettes with a $30 starter kit. A wide range of devices are available. Try a different flavor or a nicotine strength. And right now they're offering curbside pickup, delivery, and shipping options. Cool Clouds also has a growing selection of CBD products and recreational cannabis accessories. First-time customers, mention the EP podcast for 20% off your first purchase when you sign up for the rewards program. With gift certificates available, get one now for the smoker you want to get off cigarettes. Cool Clouds Vapor Shop, 3837 West 95th Street in Evergreen Park. Age verification is required, must be 21. Remember, quitting smoking is hard. Lucky for you, there's Cool Clouds Vapor Shop. You're listening to the Evergreen Park High School Marching Band. That's a sound that I'm going to miss. Bands going down 95th Street for the 4th of July parade. We may have to mix in some audio from the last 4th of July parade in 2019 this summer, just so you don't have too much withdrawal. Glenn Pniewski, though, earlier in the show, laying out a bunch of different events that are still going to be going on this summer and the fall. Fireworks on Labor Day, summer concerts. There's going to be an Oktoberfest, for crying out loud. Can't wait for that. And I want to bring Glenn in here to have a little bit of fun, because Glenn is one of the people who goes and pitches ideas to the village. The FantaSci Fest, which is like a fantasy sci-fi fest, was one of the last events before things started shutting down when the pandemic first kicked off. And it seems like it was forever ago, but it's coming back this fall. That's one of Glenn's babies. He loves that kind of stuff. Glenn comes up with some quirky ideas. So now we're going to give Glenn a chance to present us with another, out-of-the-box idea for the village of Evergreen Park. Glenn, what is the next thing that you would like to try for the first time ever in the EP?
I myself, my hobby, secret hobby, is I restore and clean up old manual typewriters. Yes, I'm old school on that. And I know that there is a following. A lot of people are dusting up, kind of like LPs. You know, people are getting back into the old record albums. And so what I'm kicking around an idea is having over at the Senior Center, maybe this summer, later this summer, maybe in September, having what they call a type-in. What that is, we set up some tables over there. It's not a high-profile event, but if you got an old typewriter or you collect them, bring them in, show them, sit there. I want to hear that room clacking with old typewriter keys. And if you're a writer, you sit there and knock out a poem or a short story, we got the stage up there for you to recite it. So
hold on a second, Glenn. Hold on a second. You just blew my mind here. So people get together with antique typewriters.
A lot of coffee shops do this, yes.
Have a type-in where they sit down and they just start typing things?
Yep. Whether it's a letter, or whether it's a little poem. A lot of people who collect old typewriters bring them all, just to show them. And if they want to sell them, that's fine too. We don't care, but, just a little. These are very popular. Like I said, a lot of coffee shops do this. And, a lot of kids come in and they, if it's not an iPhone or a laptop, they don't know what the heck it is, kind of like the old rotary phones. Hey, there's an event, bring in a lot of rotary phones and have people call each other. But no, I've been at one of these. It is so cool, especially if everyone is sitting there clacking away on this, and it's a wonderful sound.
Well, I'll tell you this: the moment that you guys start to include old Apple IICs, I'll be there. That's about as old as I go. Got no typewriter here, but I got an old Apple in the back. Floppy disk and all.
The sound of typing on a computer keyboard is different from that typewriter, those keys hitting that page. So I don't have a date or anything on that. It's just an idea that I'm kicking around right now. So, and also if there's something like that, I like the idea of that in late August, maybe over at the Senior Center, simply because on some of those hot Saturdays, literally, that Senior Center auditorium is literally the coolest place in Evergreen Park. So then I figure maybe throw a little lunch thing in there too. It might be a nice little afternoon. Again, not a high profile event, more for hobbyists, more of a little.
It's more for the underground typewriter fight club. That's what it's more for.
Exactly right. I use a typewriter a lot when I'm doing stuff. I'll a lot of times do a first draft on the typewriter, and then you can scan it, OCR it into Adobe, and then make your changes. But the thing about working with a typewriter, especially if you're a writer, is that there are so many distractions when you're typing on a laptop. You can all of a sudden you'll get that email notification or your eBay notification. When you are on a typewriter, that is serving one purpose. It is there helping you write. And so, again, not a widespread interest, but writers love them. So anyway, I'm working on that, and we'll get that one out there too. Certainly not as exciting as a fireworks show, but it'll appeal to the inner nerd, So
I guess one of the follow-up questions for the fireworks show, I remember that the reason we couldn't do something like that, it had been floated out there, and I believe it might have been written, it had been sent out in an email to people. I think I had talked to somebody over there before you guys actually put it out there and made it public, was the idea that in the time of COVID winding down and getting the vaccines out, you were not going to get the same kind of support that you normally get from other jurisdictions, neighboring jurisdictions, because of all the different things they were dealing with.
Exactly right.
And that's why it didn't make a lot of sense to do it. So is it something where they're available when we get around the Labor Day?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think I even told you, I think I even mentioned that when I was on your show there in, I don't know, it was probably April or so. Because of all the things going on, it's not that we wouldn't have gotten the support. It's just that the neighboring law enforcement agencies, they just didn't have those guys available. And I think that does change now. When we've discussed this Labor Day with our own police department, they're like, oh yeah, that'll be much easier to get people to help if needed. So yeah, that's a biggie. I mean, that was a big part of the cancellation of the parade. And actually, the parade was never canceled. Just we never moved forward with it. And Mayor Sexton, he hated to have to not schedule that parade. He was coming up with different options we could try, but between that and again back in March, the COVID numbers were still too high. How would we have known then? Where we would be today? But that's just a call you had to make. And plus, you would never been able to. There again, like I said before, the parades are made up of the bands and the sponsors and the floats, and the sponsors for sure we wouldn't have gotten. So all under the bridge right now, or over the bridge, or wherever the river flows.
Right, over it, under it. Yeah, to grandmother's house we go. Exactly.
But, we will have an explosive Labor Day. That's what I'm saying. So.
That sounds good. That's good. That's exciting. Before I let you go, you got anything else here you want to get out to people?
Well, I think, as you mentioned, Mayor Burke's going to be on your show on Thursday. We're so excited to have Mayor Burke here. I mean, she's been in office for 30 days, and we completely miss Mayor Sexton. It's two different ways of doing things, and but we like some of the fresh ideas that you can meet her every Thursday. We're at the farmers market, so Evergreen Park is in a good place.
My friend Glenn Pniewski, the original plan was to get you down here to the bar, but I'm at the tail end of this thing that I've been dealing with all week long. We'll get you down here next time, and what the heck, get out there and hang with us on Thursday at Durbins with Mayor Kelly Burke, okay?
I'm looking forward to it.
102nd and Kedzie, we will see you Thursday night. Get there early. We will start talking on the mics at 7 p.m. You're going to want to get there beforehand, have a drink, bring your friends, eat some food, bring the kids. Outside if it's nice, inside if it's not. Thursday night, 102nd and Kedzie, Durbins of Evergreen Park. The EP podcast will see you there. And we are on demand every show we have done so far. Around 200 of them over the last 3 years, including our most recent Eating Evergreen Park episode. And so much more. Found everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com. Bye-bye, everybody.
Another show is wrapped up. Another show's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. And then by the looks, it's going to be a good one. And we'll see you next week. And the nude is basement. And the nude is basement. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And it's in the books. Another show is wrapped up. Another show is wrapped up. And by the looks, it's gonna be a good one. Nudie's Basement. Broadcast Basement. The Nudie's Basement. The Broad Basement. Slancha.
The EP Podcast. Heard everywhere podcasts can be found, and always at the eppodcast.com.